only on the zone. August 16th, Moses Itauma, the next heavyweight superstar, faces his greatest challenge, Dillian Whyte, back to remind the world he's not done yet. Itauma versus Whyte. Click the link in the description to buy.
Final thoughts to Dillian Whyte versus Moses Itauma the morning of the fight. Now, remember, we will be doing a live watch-along tonight, right? Now, apparently the ring walk time is going to be 10:30 UK time, okay? So it's going to be quite late in Saudi Arabia. And for someone like a Dillian Whyte who's never fought over there, I wonder if they've, adjusting to that. Because normally 10:30 UK time is a normal time to be doing a ring walk, but it's not going to be 10:30 Saudi time. It's going to be after midnight, 1 a.m. or 1:30 a.m. But thereabouts. But they're about 3 hours ahead, aren't they? Either way, we're doing a live watch along this evening. I want to say maybe 8:30, 9. Thereabouts, 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight will be going live. And yeah, we love doing the live watch alongs. They're good fun. I think this is going to be a good one in particular. So yeah, we got to look forward to that one. In terms of this fight, the funny thing is, right, I've nailed my colours to the mast from very early on this fight, and I've not changed in my prediction at all. I've said Itauma wins this fight from day dot. When it was announced originally, I was more convinced that Itauma would win early, whereas now I'm more convinced that Itauma is going to win late. But irrespective of that, my stance on this fight hasn't changed. I haven't flip-flopped on the winner. It's Itauma who's going to win this fight, in my opinion, and that's how it's going to be. Following on from the weigh-in yesterday, though, a lot of people are flip-flopping. A lot of people are saying that they reckon Dillian Whyte might do this. Now, the interesting thing is, on BoxRec, it's a 10-rounder. That's what's listed on BoxRec. Because I just assumed it would be a 12-rounder. Now, maybe BoxRec made a mistake. Maybe I haven't really looked at the rounds. But if it is a 10-rounder, I think that plays more into Dillian Whyte's strength, to be honest with you. Not changing. Full disclosure, not changing. But Dillian Whyte, early on in a fight, right, he is normally on it. He's normally sharp. It's normally when he's at his most dangerous. He can kind of warm into it a little bit. You know, the Povetkin fight, before he ended up getting knocked out, those first 4 rounds, both times around, he stopped in the 4th round the second time, and he had him down a couple of times in the 4th round the first time. He was looking really good. Boxing was looking well. Shape was looking well. And you'll often find when he gets kind of pretty much, not even the halfway point, but thereabouts, he will start to lose his shape a bit. And he was doing that even in his prime. I see it against Joseph Parker. He did start to lose his shape as the rounds progressed. It happened a bit later in the Parker fight than it did in, we'll say some of the other fights he's been in. But he does tend to lose his shape a little bit. Now, given the fact that this is only a 10-rounder, that maybe benefits him a little bit. Having said that, I still think it's going to be Itauma. But given the fact that he's come in at his lightest since 2015, so a decade ago was the last time he was this light. That's crazy. It does have a lot of people looking and saying, okay, maybe Dillian Whyte takes this. As I said in a previous video, if boxing was all about aesthetics, someone like AJ would never lose, right? It's not. Whilst Dillian Whyte looks good aesthetically, you can see a lot more muscle mass, you can see a lot more definition, I still can't get rid of that Tete fight. And at the end of the day, yes, he looked sluggish. Yes, he looked, not like he didn't want to be there, but you know what I mean? Like, he just didn't look good, right? At the end of the day, I've seen Dillian Whyte looking aesthetically out of shape in the past and still look better than that. Like against Michael Tan. I think that was the guy's name, Michael Tan or Callum Tan or something like that, or Malcolm Tan. When he was a lot younger, he was still heavy, but, he had the beating of him like that. And Ebenezer Tete is just, he's just that. He goes out next fight and gets stopped in a round by Fraser Clark, and not a big puncher, Fraser Clark, either. So that tells me that Dillian Whyte, although he's in shape, he is still at the back end of his career. Let's face facts. Let's face facts here. So for me, I can see this going only one way, and that's Itauma winning this fight probably in the later rounds. He might be useful early on, Dillian Whyte. It might make Itauma, given the fact that Itauma's on the big stage for the first time, he may be a little bit not hesitant, but maybe, he'll look to kind of get the lay of the land in the first couple of rounds, see what he's working with, see what Dillian Whyte has to offer. Once he feels comfy, then he switches it on. That's really what I think is going to happen with young Itauma in there. Dillian Whyte, it's just a case of how will Dillian Whyte, I suspect, is going to lose this fight, but just how will he lose it? Will he go out with a shield? Will he go out swinging? Will he have people saying, you know what, he still has a little bit something left in the tank? Possibly. Again, I go back to what I was saying at the start of the video. I have seen a lot of people flip-flopping, given the fact that Dillian Whyte is coming in really, really good shape. And yeah, he is. And credit to him. I'm happy he's come in really good shape. It makes this fight a little bit more interesting. It's weird, right? Like, I'm looking forward to this fight, but you know, when we have these big pay-per-views and we have these big fight fields, you know, where it was like Usyk Dubois, when it was like Ben Eubank, when it was the Last Crescendo. You wake up in the morning and you have those big fight fields, and there's just something in the air. There's just something special. Although this is a big card and it's a great card, don't get me wrong, it just doesn't have that big fight feel to it. It's weird. Maybe because that, like, normally in the main event it's a world title fight or it's got big implications. I don't know. It's just a weird one. It's just a weird one with this one. Although saying that, once we get live and we finish up this evening or whatever time it'll be, I'm sure we'll be, you know, there'll be a lot we'll be saying, oh my God, this was amazing. I've no doubt we will be. But yeah, my final thoughts for this fight are as such. It will stay, it's Moses Itauma winning this fight. I think that he will be asked questions in there. I think that Dillian Whyte, the things in his game that have cost him in the past, hasn't been him not being in shape. Yeah, he's had some fights like against Marius Vac, Ebenezer Tete, where he should have made them easier than he did. And largely that was down to him not being in shape. But when he's lost, every time he's lost, it's been technical flaws. He's not been able to defend against the uppercut. You know, he's been, you know, sloppy in terms of keeping his shape. He's had slow feet. He's always had slow feet. That's why, you know, when people say, oh, look what Fury did to Wilder in the rematch, that's why Wilder never wanted to fight Dillian Whyte. Well, no, I don't think. I think Wilder would have knocked Dillian Whyte out, because although Fury did a great job on the front foot, you know, applying pressure to Wilder in the rematch, he's got much quicker feet than Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte could do that, but nowhere near as effectively as Tyson Fury. No way. So I think the flaws in Dillian Whyte's game have always been there. Him coming in shape, in much better shape, is a good thing, certainly is, but I don't see it. I see it helping him last longer, but I don't see it being the difference between him winning and losing. I just don't. I think Itauma's youth, his explosiveness, his speed, his better technical ability, his athleticism. I think, as Moses Itauma said, Moses Itauma sounded very confident with Dev Sani in the post-weigh-in interviews yesterday, and he was like, Moses Itauma's time. And I think, quite frankly, it is. Quite frankly. So those are my thoughts on this. Let me know yours in the comment section below. As always, people, if you could, hit the like button, smash it, subscribe. I'm like 3 subs off 26,100. If you could, I'd really appreciate if you just hit the like, hit the subscribe button, all of that good stuff. And until next time, until this evening, peace.